Okay, this will be brief, and I know what you're thinking. He always says that, and he never is. Well, I'm Irish. What can I tell you? Anyway, the reason I'm on this now is to make a prediction. And predictions are always dangerous because people say, oh, you made a prediction and it turned out that you were wrong. So you're a moron. And I've had a lot of clients tell me that over the years. And okay, they were right. So what? It doesn't change the fact that I'm still going to make this prediction. And it has to do with this, the abortion pills. And what I'm predicting is that today, the Supreme Court is going to reaffirm its temporary stay of the decision by the trial court in Texas. Excuse me for that. And then I'm going to predict that ultimately they're going to throw the case out. Now, why would I say that? Because you have all of these Catholics on the bench, and this anti-abortion Dobbs decision. So wouldn't you think that this court would want to side with this court in Texas? Well, people who say that don't understand how the Supreme Court works. The Supreme Court is not there to pass legislation. And by and large, they don't. Whether you like the results of their opinions or not, they're not legislating. And I've said for a long time that even though I agreed with the policy of Roe v. Wade, as a matter of law, it was one of the worst decisions I've ever read. And it was eventually going to be overturned just because it was badly reasoned. And that's what they did. So, but I've had a fair amount of experience with the Supreme Court. I've had 3 Supreme Court decisions that came down in my favor, my client's favor, and including 2 which overturned decades of terrible law passed by the Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit. That probably is the single case of which I'm most proud. But here's what the Supreme Court, and also follow them because my specialty is patent infringement litigation, and a number of their decisions impact my day-to-day adventures into the courtroom. So, but here's one thing about the Supreme Court that I have seen time and again. If they can decide something on a procedural matter, they will, so that they don't have to get into the thorny nuts and bolts of the underlying issue. And that's often a great disappointment to people who think that they're finally going to get a decision which talks about the merits of X, Y, and Z, and instead they throw the case out because of some procedural deficiency. But that's what they look to first. Is there a way we can get rid of this case on procedural grounds? And as I've said before, I had real questions about standing. And standing is hard to get. You don't just walk in and say, this is against my moral principles, and it's upsetting to me to have to tell people they can't get an abortion when they want one, and they think they have a right to it, and yada, 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 and to prescribe this pill, and I don't want to do it, and then people get mad at me because I won't prescribe it, but it's upsetting to me. That's not standing, and in my opinion, and I've done a lot of research to try to find some case where somebody had standing to challenge an approval by the FTC of any drug, and I haven't found one. So the Supreme Court would have to break new ground by saying that this group of people, based upon their own feelings, it's a group of doctors, based upon their own feelings, would have standing to challenge and invite and eventually achieve, at least on the first round, the elimination of a particular drug from public use. And I think the court's going to say, no standing, we're not going to get into the merits, case dismissed. That's my prediction. So based on my view that that's how they're ultimately going to decide this case, they will probably reinstate their ban on the district court's decision going into effect, and they will allow people to continue to obtain these medications until they have a chance to rule on the merits of the case. That's my prediction. I told you this would be short. That's all I have to say today. So now I'm going to lean over here and see if I can find that thing where I turn it off, and I think I found it. Good news for you.